Welcome back to the EAM Crypto channel and to episode number 9. That's right, episode number 9 of the Weekly DeFi Recap. It might as well be the first one though, guys, because this is going to be the most action-packed, has the most meat to it. Our channel somehow got dragged into the weekly DeFi drama that we see every single week. So we're going to hit on that head on. I'm going to talk about that in detail. And we're going to cover so many different things, so many assets. There's a lot going on. Bitcoin is showing some serious signs of life. In some ways, the TA was respected this week, and in some ways it wasn't. So we're going to cover that a little bit as well. And I'm going to do something new to the weekly DeFi recap. At the very end, I'm going to give a pick that I really like. I'm not a financial advisor, but you guys are telling me that I'm not doing enough as far as telling you guys what I like before I do it. And there's actually an asset that I'm going to jump all over on Monday morning. So again, I'm just letting you guys know, as fun as entertainment, maybe it's kind of education to show you the why I'm going to jump into this asset on Monday. I think I'm kind of leaking what kind of asset it's going to be because I have to wait till Monday. But I think it would be good to wait till the end of the episode because I think it might be one of the juiciest things as well. So let's get into it. So much to cover. It's going to be a great episode. All right, everyone, a quick word from our partner and our sponsor, Swapsicle. My absolute favorite DEX, and it's not even close. That's where you go to swap and trade. You can armor LPs, you can farm, you can stake. They have giveaways, lotteries, lending, crowdfunding, multi-chain initiatives, and they have a fully doxed team. They have a fully professional legal team. These guys are going to be around for a long time. My absolutely favorite DEX, Swapsicle. All right, so we interviewed the Omniverse team this week. This is the ex-Highpoint team, and controversy ensued, not just for me, but for others and for the team, more importantly. On-chain got into it. He did a couple of videos on it, came up with some really great points. They had some counterpoints, and there was a lot of going back and forth. I'm not going to get into the legal aspect of it. It seems like On-chain has his opinion, they have theirs. But look, guys, on this channel, we're all about investing ourselves first, making sure that we work on ourselves as investors, as traders, degens, whatever you want to call it, and then use that to try to do as well as possible in these volatile DeFi streets that have some very illiquid assets. So On-chain had said that he didn't like it that certain YouTubers mentioned my name, covered them, or gave them a platform, not only with Highpoint, but with Omniverse. So before I tell you how I feel about Omniverse, because I was bullish on them when I did the interview, but I want to give you what my position is now. Before that, let's just take backtrack for a second and talk about Highpoint. Why was I so bullish on Highpoint when it first came out? I know that the word scam is being used, failed project, all this stuff, and whatever verbiage you want to use, that's fine. But let me tell you where I stood and why I did what I did as far as an investor, as a trader, and as a YouTuber, why I liked Highpoint so much when it came out. When it first came out, this project was so hyped, so hyped. They had 17,000 members in their Discord. They had the backing of the Obsidian Council, which had 14,000 members, I think. I know there's some overlap there, but think about how many thousands of holders that is. They had all the hype. Their Discord was always going all sorts of crazy. And if you look at what we had as far as data at that point in time, this was a few months ago. Okay, we had Titano, which had made life-changing money for many. At the time, we didn't know about all the issues with Titano, if there are some. We didn't know about the fact that, what the future is going to look like as far as the Titano chart. Not once have I said on my channel, post what, maybe like February or March, whenever I sold my Titano, have I said, hey, you should buy some Titano, right? Because the chart hasn't looked great, has stabilized in the recent days or weeks, but it's still not in a buy zone for me. But I'm going off kilter here. What I wanted to state is that Titano had shown that it made life-changing money for many. Okay. Then the next big rebase protocol that had this kind of hype, Sphere. Sphere did a 32x, guys, a 32x. I'm embarrassed to say I only got like a 8x out of it. After taxes, I sold too soon. Shame on me. I really wish I could go back in time. But they were on Polygon. There's all sorts of reasons why I thought, well, let's take profits here. And I kind of screwed up on that one. But I felt like Highpoint was going to be the next big one. I thought this was going to be huge because of everything I just stated. I had Jesse Eccles backing as well, who at that point in time, Jesse Eccles couldn't miss, right? It was just like, hitting one three-pointer after another for him. He couldn't miss. And I thought that this, because it had its backing of the council, of Jesse Eccles, it just seemed to have the perfect storm to do like maybe like Sphere did, like another 30x. So I was all sorts of hype on Highpoint. That's why I covered it on my channel. That's why I decided to help them out with marketing. Did I get compensated for that? Of course. Did I invested the max into Highpoint. Now, Dow King did a video on Colts not that long ago. And that video is actually pretty dead on. And I am kind of embarrassed to say that even though I don't say that Highpoint was a cult, Dow King's video was talking about how maybe some people fall into the trap of just thinking too much about one project. And I did that mistake with Highpoint. I did. I thought that because they had the lowest APY, they were going to have the longest track as far as runway, as far as sustainability. Titano was still going very, very strong at that point in time. So I thought, well, surely they're going to go longer than Titano because their APY is lower and they have all this hype. So their liquidity should be all sorts of strong. And I just didn't think that things were going to go wrong. So I didn't take profits. What do we always talk about on this project, on this channel? Take profits. We did it with Titan, right? Well, guess why I did it with Titan? Because I learned my lesson with Highpoint. So as investors, as traders, we make mistakes. I made mistakes with Highpoint. We learn from them and then we apply them to next trades so that we can be profitable moving forward. That's what we do. We learn from our mistakes. We get better. We tighten up our game. And that's what this channel is all about. I kid all the time. I'm not the most charismatic or funny or entertaining, but on this channel, we're going to get better at our game. We're going to make money. And that's why I liked Highpoint so much. Now, let's transition the conversation real quick to Omniverse. When I did the interview for Omniverse, as I stated, when the video starts, I was paid for it. So I know that on-chain had issues with the fact that maybe some people weren't claiming that they got paid or whatever. I was very honest, transparent about that. I got paid 750 BUSD for it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now, where I think I want to go back and backtrack is that when I did the video, I stated that I was bullish on the project. I really thought that because of the fact that they, have so much as far as, a little bit of experience, they have their community, that it would do a 2x, maybe do better. And then their deflationary mechanism in the protocol, I thought was something interesting. So I was going to invest in Omniverse. I was. Now, having said that, after everything that's happened all week with all this bad PR, with the fact that KevView called his X project a scam, oh my God, can't believe that this is all happening. Am I still bullish on Omniverse? No, guys. I cannot state that it's a good investment or a good trade to go into Omniverse right now with all this bad PR. It's already a bear market. Maybe things are starting to stabilize, get better. We can talk about that in a second. But no, guys, I am not going to invest in Omniverse. Am I going to take down my video? Of course not, guys. I am going to show everything that I've done on my channel. It's there for you guys to see. This channel is to chronicle everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the mistakes, the good calls. We're going to have it all out there for everyone to see so you guys can kind of see from my mistakes or from my good calls how to become better and hopefully be entertained. I know I make jokes that it's not entertaining, but I try to make it entertaining. But anyways, I hope this explains the whole thing. I hope this explains why I was so hyped on Highpoint. And guys, I really did learn from that. I think I covered that on my channel in great detail. And if on-chain and the DeFi army wants to make certain comments, I think he's probably a very busy guy. I'm not a big channel, so I'm sure he hasn't seen all my videos. So when he's talking about our channel, he's probably doing it from a very small lens. Having said that, I appreciate what they're doing as far as cleaning DeFi up. I really do. I hope they keep doing it. Having said that, I do think that I wish that they did it in a less aggressive, maybe kind of like bad way, right? So I saw some snapshots of their Discord where they're kind of making accusations at certain people, not at me, but at certain people. I don't think that's good. Threats are not good. Let's keep it civil, guys. Let's be good. Let's treat each other in a kind way. And yeah, let's just try to work together to make DeFi better. So I hope this explains it. It was a trade. It was a good trade spot. And if you want some other examples of something similar, look, guys, let's just think about an asset that's outside of crypto, like a tobacco company, like I think Philip Morris is it? Smoking's bad for you. It's gross. It's disgusting. Cigarette butts are gross. But what if Philip Morris, the stock, I think it's Philip Morris, is in a value spot? Is it bad to do a trade there, take the trade and then sell it, even though you're against smoking? I mean, so it's weird, right? So with assets like this, you're going to be in weird spots where do I think that the asset's going to last forever or not? It doesn't matter if I think that there's a good trade to be done. Now with rebase protocols, can't really do that because of the fact that there's, buy and sells and taxes. But with all sorts of assets in crypto, that's going to happen. I took a fresh long on EOS about 36 hours ago. This is a cautionary tale of what can happen to a huge project. It's a failed project, but the chart looked beautiful. So I took a fresh long on EOS about 36, 48 hours ago. I'm so glad I did. It's doing great. Am I going to hold that long? Absolutely not. So is it bad that I took a fresh long on a failed project? No. If the chart is telling me as a trader to do it, I should do it. So it's a very nuanced thing. Trading and having a YouTube channel, all that kind of stuff, it does make it a little weird at times, but I am trying to do my best. I'm trying to do my best as transparency. And yes, I do want to make that confirm that I do not think that Omniverse is a buy now based on everything that happened. And I do want to give you guys a homework assignment. Go look at their white paper. What is the team allocation now? What are some of the details that maybe we didn't cover in the interview? What do I need to do to be a better investor when first looking at assets like this? I had no idea what the team allocation was for Highpoint. I had no idea. I had no idea what the average is, what's considered standard. So there is so much more to this, and there's so much to use as far as learning and education. So just use this. So am I going to take my Omniverse video down now? Absolutely not. We're going to learn from this, and we're going to hit everything dead on. We're not hiding from anything. All right, so let's talk about Bitcoin, the macro, all that good stuff. Our good friend Jerome Powell, he only raised hikes by 75 basis points. Market loved that, but what they really loved was when he was talking about guidance or what they're going to do moving forward. He said that it's going to be data driven. So if you just kind of look between the lines, what that means is that he's going to take in more of what's happening with the data as far as what the markets are telling him. When he figures out what to do next. It is kind of a funny conversation to have, because if he's not looking at the data, if he's going to be looking at the data then, but wasn't looking at the data now, isn't that weird? Shouldn't you always be looking at the data? But whatever. I think we all kind of read between the lines. So markets reacted beautifully to that. The TA was not respected this week. On 5 days ago, on the 25th, BTC closed below 22.2. So from a traditional technical analysis perspective, that should have meant that it was going to be kind of an ugly week. But the TA doesn't always get respected. Sometimes we get it wrong, or I get it wrong when I interpret the data. And but we pivoted very quickly. All started looking all sorts of beautiful, and made a couple of really nice fresh long trades. So moving forward, what the chart implies is that around 25.5, if you want to be exact, 25,488, we will see the next level of resistance. So if one wants to be very cautious, which is probably the route I'm going to take just because of the way that the markets look right now, that's going to be probably the optimal time to take profit on some of these fresh longs. And then just wait and see. What I think will then happen is that Bitcoin will kind of hopefully do a higher low based on the previous one, and then go all the way up to maybe 26.5. Around 26.5, I think, is probably where we're going to see a lot of resistance. But again, it's going to be a trader's market. And even right now, I'm expecting Bitcoin to maybe drop a little bit more. As far as this weekend goes, that RSI is starting to get a little high for both Bitcoin and for Ethereum. Look at that RSI. So it would make a lot of sense for the oscillators to reset, for things to kind of come, just kind of restabilize, and the engines to kind of, get a little bit more momentum. So drop a little bit before we go up to 25.5. And so it's going to be an interesting weekend, but that's how I'm interpreting things, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think we're going to have some fun times in the next week or so. And does this mean that as far as the macro, it's great now? No, it's not. Does it mean that we can for sure say that, the previous low was the macro low? No, we can't. I don't know what's going to happen. It could be that, Bitcoin has to drop some more, maybe goes down to 19K or something, and that's now a higher low than whatever the previous one was. What was it, 17.5? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it's pretty exciting to finally start to get a little bit more bullish after being so freaking bearish for the last 7 months. All right, guys, we are going to turbo through the assets today just because this video is getting a little too long. First of all, Pebble, Serenity Capital, assets looking pretty solid. It's done almost a 4x or more actually since about 10 days ago, and it's kind of stabilizing. Do not sleep on this asset, but at the same time, be careful with this asset. It's very liquid, but I really like the project. Go check out Serenity Capital. I'm just a huge fan of that project. I did want to cover, as we always do, let's cover Grape, let's cover wine. 107. I'll let you guys decide. Is that value? Is that not value? I think you guys kind of, you know, my channel, I think you know where I stand on whether or not it's value. So is it most likely at a value spot? Time will tell, but you know, time and time again, history has shown us when wine is around these levels, it then tends to do much better. So we will wait and see. Looks like it formed a higher low there again it looks like a much higher lower low than below that last time we covered it. So yeah, we'll see what happens with grape and wine, but really interesting to see how this asset that was so strong for so long is showing weakness now. But again, great project, great team. I have really fundamentally no reason to doubt that they will come back. Now, Frozen Walrus, one of the strongest assets in all of DeFi, very strong community. They always have something going on. Their Discord game is pretty strong, very engaged community. Did show some weakness. So what we last covered it on the 23rd. So yeah, showed some weakness from the last few days, but look guys, it got as high as 360, painting another higher high. I mean, those that got into Frozen Walrus have made so much money. They've done so well. Did not realize that it got up as high as, what's that, 360, 365 almost earlier this week. So they did give some profits back, but here it's still say that this is a low right here. It's much higher low than this one and the previous one. I mean, again, it looks like it's painting another very nice range. So wow, this asset just keeps continuing to show strength, and does give back profits, but you know, people, and especially in DeFi, they take profits. So not crazy to see the chart looking like that. Magic's still doing some of the same things that it's been doing, just kind of staying between that range. Again, in my opinion, one of the most undervalued assets in all of DeFi. They have business initiatives. Their compounder is the real deal. And yeah, it's really stabilized ever since it, you know, had some really tough times around March, and then it kind of went on a run and then showed a lot of weakness back in early May. It stabilized very nicely. I mean, one could almost say that it looks like a stable coin the last few weeks. Yeah, we'll see how things go for Magic, but it's just kind of stabilized around this 24-cent mark. I feel like every week I keep repeating myself with that. I did want to show a couple of things. So MDB, if you didn't check out my interview with their CEO, Danny, check it out. This project is ridiculously legit. We'll put that as number one in list of assets that I slept on way too long. Really wish I can go back in time with this one. So I am now an MDB and MDB plus holder, I am happy to say. And yeah, this asset's just showing all sorts of strength. Go check out my interview. Go see what the CEO had to say. This project is all sorts of legit and unique. And I really like what they're doing. These guys are very sharp, very experienced before they started this project. A lot to like there. I did want to touch on two things. First of all, it looks like Survivor Protocol had some issues. They had to go from a V1 to V2. Go check out the latest with them, but it looks like things have stabilized very nicely. I guess I'll just say it. I mean, because it's a game theory kind of thing. At first I thought maybe I shouldn't say what I'm going to do. There's a lot of game theory to this one. It's actually a really fun game. You guys should check it out. I'm in tier 10, I guess. That means I didn't sell any of my initial tokens. So I guess I qualify for the weekly BUSD, and then I also qualify for the lottery or the jackpot, whatever you want to call it. Not sure when it's going to be. I honestly have not kept up with this as much as I should. So I have no idea when that lottery or jackpot will be, but go check it out. This chart's looking pretty good now. Wow, interesting, very interesting. But yeah, it seemed like they had some drama. There's some kind of issue with the rebasing, so they had to go from a V1 to V2. But go check it out. And guys, what I really like about them, they're saying it's a game. It's not investment, it's a game, and it has a bunch of game theory to it. So it's a very cool asset, very cool protocol. We'll see what happens. US Dibs. Now, I saw a tweet. They didn't reply back to me. I wish they would have. They tweeted that they're going to start using the Horde LMS system. That is super exciting. It makes me want to go back into US Dibs. They didn't reply. So If you guys know, if you guys can comment below what the latest is. Are they going to apply LMS, Horde's LMS system to US Dibs? I think that they already implemented it to the other peg token for Dibs money. You guys can let me know, that'd be awesome. But if these guys are going to implement Horde, I want to know when. And then, yeah, sign me up. I'll be happy to rebuy into US Dibs. So something to keep your eyes on, because nice, consistent free money with something that's been very consistent like Horde. Let's go. I'm all about that. And I did want to cover, clicked on the wrong one. I did want to cover what the heck's going on with Printer, guys. Look at this craziness. I talked about last week that it was at 2, then it went all the way up to like 40. And no, I misspoke, 60. And now it's back to 10. So is it at a value spot? Like, what is going on? Someone had commented, thank you, that they had some kind of partnership where I think they got taken over by Grape. I can't even remember what you commented, man, but thank you. I need to look at that comment again. It's been that busy of a week. This is one of my to-dos, was to look into Printer, what's going on. Is it at a value spot again? Very interesting. What's the volume like? The volume is dreadful. Dreadful. Only 4 buys, 8 sells. Volume 790. That concerns me. Damn. I wish I wish I would have seen a big number there. I need to look into it, see what's going on. I may jump in there, I may not. I don't know. Because like I said, I had a few and then I sold at like 20 some dollars, I think. And it was a loss, because I had bought at much higher, I think like in the 30s. So I sold at a loss, but I got most of my money back, and it wasn't a big investment, so it was fine. So that's about it. So now let's talk about a asset outside of crypto that I'm all sorts of excited about right now. All right, doing something new here. You guys requested it. Here it is. And yeah, the alkaline water company, guys. Random, huh? Yep. Very random. Yeah, so this is outside of crypto. How did I even find out about these guys? They had some kind of partnership with Shaq. And I think that's how I got in my sights back in 2021. I've been in and out of this asset before at a nice gain. And here we are in a value spot again. So guys, I'm not a financial advisor, but you guys asked what is like one of my favorite plays. So if a play comes up that I really like, that I'm excited about, I'm going to tell you guys about it. So I didn't figure this one out till I got on my sites. Well, it's been on my kind of my radar. It's on my list of assets that I track daily, but it really became pretty obvious. And here, guys, I mean, it's pretty simple. We got 1 right here, 2, 3 rising valleys. And we talked about the 3 rising valleys on BTC, not the Lango. And if you don't want this to look even more beautiful, well, too bad for you, because it is. Because look at this gap fill all the way up to 70 cents. Are you kidding me? So outside of crypto, something like this that can produce about 75% return, almost a 2x, just from this beautiful structure right here of 3 rising valleys. And then on top of that, a gap fill that clearly needs to fill all the way up to 70 cents. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. You could get really kind of conservative, and you see this tip right here from February 25th, and just state, well, I'm going to play it safe at 68 cents, but that's what I'm going to do. So this is my favorite pick of the week. It is on the daily. I do see some negative Momo. Yeah, the negative momentum is definitely starting to build there. So not the most beautiful thing, but guys, RSI, yeah, RSI is fine. RSI is fine. I just see a higher low there. Yeah, I'm just loving it. I'm just loving it. There's just too much to like here with the 3 rising valleys, and then that gap fill that has to happen right at some point. So yeah, this is a beautiful one. These are like all-time lows for this asset as well. And yeah, they got Shaq behind them. You can't go against Shaq, right? Like that's just, I think it's written in I can't remember what TA book it written from. I don't know, who knows when. It says don't go against Shaq. Just trust me on that one. It's in some book. All right, guys. So that about nails it for this week's episode number 9. Cool stuff. Hope you guys are enjoying these. I see it's getting more and more views, which is great. Love to see that. Yeah, let's see how things happen. We'll keep an eye on water. Again, guys, this is not a crypto asset, so this is going to take a while to form, okay? So when I'm saying the gap is going to fill, and we see all this beautiful thing as far as a beautiful structure, it could take a while. This could take 6 weeks. It could take 3 months. I don't know. I'm not good. I'm not a good trader when it comes to timing, but this could take a while. Okay. It could take 3 months easily. Would not be weird. So keep that in mind as well. I should have said that. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you soon. Take care.